Hello there, me again, on camera once again, here to bring you another video. This time I will be reviewing, or ranking, Marvel's Infinity Saga. All the movies. Only the movies. I have not seen any of the Netflix series. I plan on changing that soon, but for now, this is just a ranking of Marvel's Infinity Saga movies. It's hard to believe it's been 8 years since the first movie was released. Iron Man. Now, like 20 plus movies later, and billions of dollars made later on, Marvel is probably the biggest money-making machine in Hollywood at the moment. And now, I am ranking all of the Marvel movies, all of the MCU Infinity Saga movies, from worst to best. Now, these are just my subjective opinions. If you disagree, that's great. If you agree, that is also great. So without further ado, let's start with the bottom. One more disclaimer. I don't think that any of these movies are bad. Marvel has accomplished something rather impressive, and that is they have not put out a genuinely bad movie yet. But we have to look at the worst Marvel has to offer first before we get to the good stuff. So, the worst Marvel movie, in my opinion, The Incredible Hulk. Once again, I don't think that any of the Marvel movies are exactly bad, but this is the closest it ever got to being bad. I mean, like, one thing, it just feels so inconsequential. Edward Norton doesn't reprise his role of Bruce Banner, Liv Tyler doesn't return in any capacity in any of the future movies. The bad guy survives the end, but he doesn't show up in any other part of the MCU. The only character who really had an impact from this movie, and like I said, like Bruce, of course Bruce Banner, but he's portrayed by Mark Ruffalo in the later movies. Like, pretty much only the general, like, really matters, because he shows up later in Civil War, but his relationship with the Hulk is meaningless. Okay. Second was Captain America: The First Avenger. Going back and watching all these movies, some movies I've discovered a greater appreciation of. But Captain America, like, it was my least favorite of the MCU movies when I first saw it. Even though, obviously, I rank it just higher than The Incredible Hulk, this is still I still find it to be, it's just so boring. I mean, like, the villain sucks, the plot is dull. I mean, thank God, like, all the following Captain America movies did better than this one. Next, Iron Man 2. Iron Man 2 was one of my least favorite Marvel movies, like, years ago. Rewatching it here, I kind of do appreciate it more than I did before. Robert Downey Jr. is still great as Iron Man. The visual effects are pretty good. Don Cheadle, you quickly get used to Don Cheadle as War Machine. Mickey Rourke as the villain is not as good as he could have been, but honestly, he's actually better than I remember. Despite despite my uh, soft praise of the movie, the movie does kind of fall apart during Act 3. Next, Iron Man 3. Um, it, a lot of it is not bad. Obviously, Robert Downey Jr. as Iron Man is great. I think Aldrich Killian is actually a pretty underrated villain, if not a great villain. Ben Kingsley as the Mandarin. Okay, the twist about the Mandarin, about him being like an actor called Trevor Slattery. Yeah, that's his name. I actually like that twist. Well, not so much I like the twist, I like the character. Ben Kingsley is good as the Mandarin, but he is great as Trevor Slattery. He is just wonderful. But still, I feel like to get this very entertaining character, we had to sacrifice what could have been a genuinely great villain. And to me, that kind of feels unfortunate. And yeah, I am aware of there's a ton of... Okay, you have Movie Bob who says that the Mandarin was too much of a racist caricature to really translate for a movie. So the twist that they did with him actually works, and he appreciates it. And, you know, if that's what he likes, that's what he likes. I respect Movie Bob. But, okay. Next year, apparently we're going to get a real version of the Mandarin. So, is Bob going to subtract points from Iron Man 3? Okay. We're at the end of the bottom 5. And I feel like this is going to be contentious, but Black Panther. I'm sorry, I just don't think it's that good. okay, I like all the actors are good. Michael B. Jordan is probably one of the best actors of his generation. The music is really good. The CGI is mostly good. The design, aesthetics, all really good. And look, if you're a black person and this movie means a lot to you, it's significant to you, it means something to you. I know that this is all. It's noteworthy, most of all for its cultural significance, and you know, fair enough. No one should be able to take that away from you. Least of all, not me. But honestly, I don't think cultural significance makes a good movie. It can make a good movie better, but I don't think Black Panther is that good. It's just kind of okay to me. And even though this movie's detractors do like Killmonger, I actually don't. I don't think he makes sense as a villain. He should be written with more sympathetic qualities, but he has no sympathetic qualities. Next one. Thor: The Dark World. If you asked me a few years ago before this rewatch, I probably would have put Thor: The Dark World at the bottom, but I'm actually surprised by how well it holds up. Chris Hemsworth is still really good as Thor. Loki is still fantastic. It actually is a lot more engaging than I remember. And that's... Yeah, again though, the villain's not that good. Next one. Ant-Man and the Wasp. I originally thought that I liked this one better than the first Ant-Man. I guess I liked the first Ant-Man more than I thought. But I do like Ant-Man and the Wasp. I think it's okay. Paul Rudd and Evangeline Lilly, is that a name? Anyway, I think they both work off really well with each other. Ghost, the villain, I like. She's a very sympathetic, very understandable villain in this movie, and I hope that we see more of her in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Like if they want to put her on Disney Plus, or if she gets, if she appears in a future movie, that'd be really good. I love that. And even though I didn't specify, everything from For the Dark World on, I think is genuinely good. Okay, Captain Marvel. My thoughts of Captain Marvel are pretty much the same as when I first saw it. Not one of Marvel's best, but not one of Marvel's best, not one of their worst, but Marvel has not put out a genuinely bad movie, in my opinion. So, Captain Marvel is a mid-tier Marvel, but, if you like these movies, Captain Marvel is certainly worth a watch. And, Brie Larson is certainly super well fitted for the role. And, fuck you, geeks and gamers, your site is rubbish. Thor. Chris Hemsworth's first foray in the role is really good. Even back in the phase 1 of Marvel, it was kind of clear that Marvel did have something of a generic villain's problem. Loki was different because even though he would go on to do better things as a villain, more interesting things as a villain, he was genuinely actually a good villain here. If this was his only movie, I'd rank him as one of Marvel's best, but he stuck around and became one of the best villains in the Marvel Universe. Of course, it's not perfect. It does get kind of, it is often not, it's not too often boring, but it's boring, it's not boring too often, but it kind of is boring too often. Not the worst Thor movie, obviously, but it's great that we got better Thor movies. Next one, Spider-Man: Homecoming. Tom Holland is obviously really good as Spider-Man, but I do kind of get the argument that Marvel should have just skipped Peter Parker and went straight to Miles Morales because it worked really well with Into the Spider-Verse. With the benefit of hindsight, you can obviously see that, and a lot of people really like Michael Keaton as the villain, and I understand. Like, I really like Michael Keaton as well. He's my favorite Batman, but honestly, as a villain, I think he's just kind of, okay. Next one, Spider-Man: Far From Home. I don't rank Far From Home meaningfully above Homecoming, but Far From Home, honestly, I kind of just put it above Homecoming pretty much just because of that illusionary scene after Peter and MJ learn the truth about Mysterio. I think that is one of the best scenes in any Spider-Man movie. Like, I put it right up there with the train fight scene from Spider-Man 2 and the Birth of the Sandman scene from Spider-Man 3. It is crazy good. Ant-Man. I'm actually surprised by how much I liked this movie upon my re-watching of all the MCU movies. I liked Ant-Man well enough the first time I saw it, but man, the comedy really works. The Paul Rudd is really good in this movie. The visual effects are like really, really something else. It has some like 2001: A Space Odyssey type visuals that are really, really interesting. The villain is a lot of these Marvel movies don't have particularly great villains. I think that Ghost is a good villain. Loki's a great villain. Uh, Vulture is an alright villain. Mysterio actually did turn out to be a pretty good villain if his motivation was kind of disproportionate to what he wanted to get back at. But Ant-Man, yeah, I think it looks like it's about midway on my list. Next one, Captain America: The Winter Soldier. It was one of the darker Marvel movies back in its day, and it's a huge step up from the first Captain America, which I didn't like all that much. And yeah, this is but obviously the next Captain America movie would I rank even higher. Okay, we're up to our first Avengers movie. Guess which one it is? Yeah, you're right, Avengers: Age of Ultron. Unfortunately, it is the weakest Avengers movie. Though, I have to say, I do like it more than when I first saw it. What's his name? Ultron is actually a pretty damn good villain. The twin, Quicksilver and Wanda all do pretty good as characters. Vision is this is his the debut Vision. I like Vision, and yeah, even though all the Avengers movies are better than this one, all the Avengers movies do have something to offer. Okay, here, next one, we're all the way back at the beginning. Iron Man. What kind of struck me most about when I started this and I was rewatching the first Iron Man was how different it feels from most of the Marvel movies. It feels slightly grittier. All of the comedy basically just comes from Tony Stark. There is kind of a meme about the whole sky beam during the third act, but honestly, the sky beam is kind of it's only there for 3 seconds. So yeah, fuck you, Screen Junkies. You haven't been good for years. Next one, Guardians of the Galaxy. Let's see, how much more have we got? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 including Guardians of the Galaxy. Some of these movies are really hard placing because and some of them I don't like that much more than the other, even though I do like them both. Sometimes though, I'll probably just rank something higher or lower for arbitrary reasons, but Guardians of the Galaxy, it is a genuinely good movie. Thank God we have James Gunn back. And fuck you, Donald Trump. Yeah, all the characters are interesting. I like Groot. I like Rocket a lot. Batista, this is his first foray as Drax, but he would really do better the next time he was in Drax. But we'll get there when we get there. All I'll say before that is that everything Guardians of the Galaxy has, I think number two did better. Okay, next, Avengers: Infinity War. The biggest Marvel movie at the time, and one of the probably was the darkest, like at the time of its release. But it's also a very efficient and intelligent movie. The plot is actually like fairly simple, and none of the characters really feel shortchanged or underdeveloped. Honestly, I think you can watch Infinity War without watching any of the movies leading up to it. I think that's saying a lot. And for all the build-up that Thanos got over 6 years, he is one of Marvel's best villains. Low bar, maybe, but he is a genuinely really good villain. Next, Thor Ragnarok. For a while, I was on the fence whether I liked Thor or Ragnarok or Thor, the first one, more, even though I haven't seen Thor for a few years. Now I can comfortably say that Thor Ragnarok is the better movie. Like, Thor goes through a whole lot of shit. Hela is one of Marvel's best villains. Some Marvel's better movies do have better villains, as you'll probably see as I continue going up the list. -1. And yeah, the effects are great. The use of Led Zeppelin is really good. It's cool to see to see a Hulk outside of an Avengers movie, because we're probably not going to get another Hulk solo movie. Next one, Doctor Strange. I really like Benedict Cumberbatch as an actor. I liked him in Star Trek. I liked him in The Hobbit, when he was Smaug. Like, that dragon gave me chills. I liked him in the Imitation Game. Yeah, it has some really awesome, crazy historical. No. It has some awesome, really crazy visual effects that are like really good. It's engaging. The story works, and I can't wait to see more of more Doctor Strange solo movies. And Benedict Cumberbatch is great. Captain America: Civil War. This movie is, I think it's one of the best. I think it can be said to be one of the best superhero movies of all time. Like all of the characters' motivations are understandable. Every character feels like reasonably fleshed out. It's serious and dark without being like dreary and like boring. You get the debut of MCU Spider-Man, and this movie actually, obviously the best Captain America movie, but also one of the MCU's best movies. Okay, top 3. The Avengers. No movie had ever tried to do anything like The Avengers back in 2012, and it worked spectacularly. All the characters had the perfect amount of screen time. Loki became Marvel's best villain. The final fight scene was incredible. Mark Ruffalo's debut as the Hulk, great. And the combination of 4 years and 6 movies, like, everything came together perfectly. Which could also be said about the next movie, Avengers Endgame. Oh boy, this, like, 11 years in the making, 22 movies, I believe. And oh man, it's like 3 hours. This movie is like so patient, so competent. Like, I feel like there were so many ways that this movie could have screwed up, but everything just works. Like, in all of those, like, key scenes that everybody's going to be talking about years from now were executed so flawlessly that, like, I didn't, like, I wasn't sure it'd be in my top two, but it deserves it, really. And number one, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. This is, this is a movie that I don't cry when I watch a movie, and I don't cry when I watch this movie either, but this is the only Marvel movie that ever got me the closest to tears. Everything just works better than any of the other movies in it. I mean, the soundtrack, the characters, the themes, the villain. Ego is a really good villain. It's kind of hard to talk about because, obviously there's a thing about fatherhood here, and I think it's probably not a controversial thing to say that I think everybody, like, gets angry and maybe, like, hates their dad sometimes, and this movie it really makes me think about my father, how he raised me, how he's, like, probably still raising me, how maybe you're never done with being a father. I wouldn't know not being a father myself. And when that scene where, like, Yondu gives his life to save Quill, he's like, "It may have been your father, boy, but it wasn't your daddy." And just watching that now, it's kind of, it really pulls the heartstring, and it's going to, in the future, it's probably going to pull my heartstring even more as I get older, more time passes, and maybe if I ever become a father, and that funeral scene, it's just a beautiful movie. This movie this isn't only a Marvel movie to make me feel, but it makes me feel the most. And when I first saw it, I knew that I liked it more than the first Guardians of the Galaxy, but this one is, rewatching it now, it really makes me, I really understand how much I appreciate it. It's a really good movie. Man, it's also, like, really, like, this movie's a whole lot darker than I think anybody really talks about it. I mean, if you look at its TV tropes page, it does have, like, darker and edgier in its list of tropes, but like, I knew that Like when I first finished watching it, like when I first, after I first saw it, I did review it, and my review is still up on my channel. But man, I feel like I'm just kind of re-reviewing it now because the relationship between Gamora and Nebula. Like I have a sister, and I have no idea who if she's Gamora or Nebula here. If I'm Nebula or Gamora, and and I feel like I'm kind of just pulling everything onto this video, this video footage. I'm not sure if I'm ever going to stop. I guess that's kind of the thing about movies that make you feel you kind of want to. It brings up things in you that you're not really sure you've really thought about before. Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 did that for me. Made me think about my father, made me think about my sister, makes me think about my mother, makes me think about my friends. It is a movie about family. Man, it is the best movie in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Not sure if I want to watch it again for a while. It just hits a little too close to home. But yeah, that's my ranking of the Marvel Cinematic Universe Infinity Saga movies. Do you agree? Disagree? How do you rank the MCU movies? You can, leave a comment. Did you like this video? What do you rank as the best? What do you rank as the worst? Just, leave a comment, like, share, do all that good stuff. Thank you for watching.